You saw the title, the SMV, the actual marketplace value. All right, sexual. All right. In this particular lesson today, with your professor Morpheus Leon C. I'm here to help you out just a little bit. And the reason why I am doing this is because of a consultation I've had with several women. And the handful of them don't quite get it. So I'm going to give it to you from a logical man who's disconnected from the matrix. And for you men, this is going to be helpful for you to give you an idea. Now, the SMV was brought to me by several other people who have gotten wind of this sort of value point that has been lingering in our new generation that we have today. And I clearly comprehended the moment that it came out of their mouth. The SMV. I knew exactly how things played out because I'm pretty much the man in the middle. I've dated the best of them and the worst of them. All right. Been around women in their best years, their best moments, their best energies with good attitudes, to their worst, to their domestic violence sort of activities, and to the point where they were depressed and broke down and felt as if life was no longer worth being a part of. So today, as your professor, I am going to be the professor to give you this red pill. Here we go. Should you decide to take it or not, is going to be up to you. You're going to fail yourself, and you are going to have a very terrible future or a very ignorant, distorted present. But I advise you to listen to your professor Morpheus today. Now, there is a thing that we have to comprehend and take into measure seriously. And that is the SMV is a very critical point of how you're going to be treated in your relationships and in your coming world. The SMV is what a lot of women do not look at when they are the age 17 to 27. The SMV isn't taught from their parents or from their mother, because those particular people themselves, on a general basis, not all, is what I consider to be blue pill, zombiac, low frequency, low profile individuals who spurn these daughters or girls of them, clones of their failures. Yes, I said it. So that these little girls can grow up to be a catastrophe and a embarrassment of existence, just like them. The fruit never falls too far from the tree. Oftentimes, these couples get together for the wrong reason. They don't think about the diligence of information and intelligence they need to install in their children that are going to be sprung from their horniness and from their dilapidated mindset to perceive the consequences of their actions. See, there are three stages to this, and there's several others, but I'm going to break it down very simple to you, maybe in threes and fours. If I let it go, so what? At least you get my message. Okay? See, there is a thing called, as you know, growing up to get an education, growing up to be somebody, get a career, be an actor, be a singer, be a well-endowed woman. Now, I'm talking about the woman here. This is very valuable for men, but I'm going to bring men in this in just a moment, but men should know what I'm talking about now of these types of girls, these types of women. Okay? So this red pill, if the women around you are those you know of, are probably even in the comment box, sitting in the academy of wow men, and don't quite get it, they will never get it again. So I'm going to draw it out for you in this schematic, almost like a blueprint so you can see it. You would never say that anybody never told you. So they grow up and they seek for this idea of life. But let's go to the past for a minute. See, in the past days, women had in mind to be at home. And they wanted to have children. They wanted to be a wife. They wanted to be a good wife. And they wanted to be a good mother to their children. And they looked forward to this because of the society, because of their mothers, and because there was no social media. There was no Instagram. There was no Facebook. There wasn't a lot of digital pornography, even though there was some available, probably scantily, very seldom. So it did not allow them to lose control. As, for example, if you're sitting there and you're in war with someone, all right? And when you at war, like with a country or something like that, and you have several utilities and artilleries that are available to you, you have a button that can pretty much explode the entire country. You have a couple of grenades. You got a rocket launcher. You got a few napalms, Mazel Tov, and a 9mm. So you are to deal with your troubles and your problems with this artillery and decide which one will be best in the situation. Oftentimes in the development of the world today, in the society that we have, times get hard, pressure comes. And when you can't make money, when you are struggling to find a job, when you didn't graduate from high school, or for most of us, first grade, you get desperate. And so instead of just looking at the bazooka or the grenade or the napalm and try to use a sniper rifle in a tree or something like that, or a 9mm face to face, social media came out that allowed women to hide behind a computer screen, to show themselves only from the shoulders up. That is to show their face or their hair, where they can make their face up. You can put all kind of face makeup or clown paint on your face as you want to, but that's sort of difficult to do that for your body. But some of them try to do that anyway with Photoshop, and they try to make their body smaller and try to expand the camera to certain angles just to get the perfect angles of their body or themselves, to deceive men, to deceive the world, to get likes from women, and to deceive men. Other women to say, ooh, I like that, you look sexy. And men will say, ooh, I like that, you look edible. Can I come over? Who are you? Let me get to know you. What's your name? Let's hook up. So this social media outlet have become a weapon, not against men generally, but against women themselves. And I'm going to bring that to you in just one moment. Listen carefully. women had no idea that this button that they pushed, okay, which was the final button, the final weapon, not only did it destroy the whole country, it destroyed themselves as well, almost like a kamikaze. But they didn't concern themselves with that consequence or condition, because when pressure came, instead of them battling the war sensibly, thinking logically, and being fair to themselves and to the opposite sex, and deal with it maybe with a 9mm or grenade launcher or something of that, they decided to say, well, we just wipe away everything, including myself, with social media. Because what they never knew was the more you strip down, the more you strip down your SMV. The more you want likes, the more you hate yourself. The more you give yourself away on DMs. The more you want emojis. The more you want personal hookups. The more you abide by this Jezebel-like, this insidious, this sickness of a legalized prostitution circle, you're doing nothing but hurting yourself. You're doing nothing but extorting your S&V with this button. However, going forward with this, see, years ago, women weren't available. They didn't have that type of option. So, my Neils, if you're listening carefully, there was something that they did that these girls do not quite get today. So, they made a home. They made the man's bed if they needed to or wanted to. Their whole angle was to look at the value of the companionship that was available, because there was something to gain. There was something to gain. This man that's in her world, on a typical, usual basis, if he's anywhere near a man and not a beta, he's her mechanic, he's her plumber, he's her protector, he can be the cook sometime, he's the builder, the carpenter, he's the massage therapist, he's the physical trainer. This man was practically everything that she needed in physical, organic form, Neo. All right? And so she didn't need extra money. Why would she spend money on something that she really don't need when this man was the providing light? Going to college and getting a degree was pretty much irrelevant to the matter. It would have been a plus, but irrelevant to the subject. Going out in the big wide world and getting 2 jobs of her own and trying to make a name for herself in the world wasn't truly the angle, because it was irrelevant to who she was and what she was doing for her home. It would have been a waste of time, and it would have been energy. It would have been life. It would have been nutritional, social nutritional energy that she could have been given to her family and her children. That would have been dwindling away. So therefore, she was wise enough to realize that whatever was needed, the man would take care of. Her husband didn't care if she staffed out to get a part-time job or to go work somewhere for at least maybe 6 to 7 hours, making probably minimum wage, because she came home. And not only did she come home probably smelling like French fries and beef and probably funny little vegetables or maybe cotton or linen, but she came home to him, and she came home to the children, which is what mattered most. He didn't care about her having an executive job. He didn't care about her being a secretary to the president. He did not care how many degrees that she was able to shovel out of the ground. All he cared about was her loyalty, her respect, her morals, and her virtue. And if he was able to acquire all of that in a very pretty, beautiful, curvy package, then all was the better. So her SMV value points wasn't in how many degrees she has in her pockets. It was what she's doing for the home and what she is doing for his life. But here, as time has went on, ladies and gentlemen, the reverse have happened, where these younger girls have been told not to depend on a man. Don't depend on a man. He's not your mechanic. He's not your physician. He's not your doctor. The list goes on, as I just described before. He's not any of that. He's not your plumber. He's not the guy who you need to come home to. You can come home to any man that you want to, is what they're told. And you are praised for it. Women are praised not to come home to her man. She's praised when she come home to not virtual, you can say virtual men who's on her Instagram and her social media, but her multiple men who's probably around her social circles. So as time has went on, she was being praised for getting the bag and getting the man all at the same time. If you can imagine, it's almost like saying that you want your cake and eat it too. When the man was practically everything. He had the bag and he was everything else that was required in her world. So through hatred, through lies, deception, the womanists, through other women who pretty much hate men by wanting to be like men and taking men's job, one day at a time, 1 month at a time, 1 year at a time, that separation began. And so she had two separate, which makes the third. Remember I said 3? The first one was her being at home with a part-time job, which was okay. The second is what I'm talking about right now. So in her hand, there was two separate things that could have been one. That is making money and having a man at home. She broke that apart by disconnecting from Adam, who was at home. So now she had two separate worlds that could have been wholesome for her and affected her in the most healthiest, most spiritual and mental ways possible. But because she wanted to be against him by ways of being deceived, once again, in one hand, there is her bag by her going out there in the world, the big bad world, and getting the money for herself 1 year at a time, making money, graduating from the highest esteemable colleges. But on the other side, here is your devil. Here is the lie. Here is where women fall. I'm telling you right now, shut your mouth and listen. This is where women have jumped out of the swimming pool into the fiery pits of hell. They still get their men. But the men that they're getting now are men who just, what they always wanted is just a curvy package. That's it. No longer at that time is it her taking care of home, kids, cooking, linen, garden, normal things that are typically done around the house, whether you like to do it or not. Rearing your children, typical things that you have to do, whether you are a single parent or not, you are still going to need to do that once you decided one way or the other to bring another innocent little cute human being into this existence of mankind. So the ignorance of neglecting, bypassing, and negating such everyday human responsibilities don't really and have not really rang in the mind of an illogical thinker. It became in the lies, the accepted lies of the lower minded, lower species, lower thinking individual to be called slavery, to be called a form of control, to be called a form of dogma against the woman. She has been convinced by the programming, the further separation between her and Adam at home, that all those tasks that were pretty much in his only natural to do, mind you, were considered as a patriarchal idea, as a slave idea, as a programmed, engineered environment idea, which forced women or women to be in a lower position than men, which again was and is a complete lie. The fact is, it's just normal everyday task. Whether she's with someone or not, she's living alone or with her family or parents, she would still need to take care of those responsibilities. Someone is going to have to do it. So therefore, the measure of separation did nothing but continued. And a handful of them fell into that trap, that fiery pit, and decided to accept the repackaged Adam. Adam number one was the man she needed. Adam number one was the provider. Adam number one was this guy who said, yes, I will marry you because you have high SMV value. You're young, you're cute, you're vibrant, you have shape. You have the potential to bear a child. Okay. You're willing to be at home. You can cook, you can clean, and you don't complain about it. You're doing it just as much as I will. So therefore, having you around is okay. You don't have social media. You're not burnt out. You haven't been on the donkey dunk roller coaster. Therefore, I don't mind investing in you. That was Adam number one. Adam number two is a repackaged Adam who's always going to be there, which is your typical monkey or dog puddle dudes who's only interested in donkey dunking, and that is pretty much it. So those same guys are always going to be available all the way through and through. But those same guys is the only ones that she have available to her while she's out there getting a bag called schooling or college or career or job and everything else that you see around your Western world, which did nothing. Listen carefully, people, which did nothing but for a good, I would say, example, again, 10 years, which is my time limit here in the Academy of Wildman that I always use. It's a tool I use. Within that 10-year period of her job or her career and chasing the bag, she was always with these other guys who would never be Adam 1. They would always get the donkey dunk from her, whether it's late at night when her kids are asleep, whether it's after work when she leaves work, whether it's happy hour, whether it's at a executive meeting right after the executive meeting, or maybe in the back parking lot of some restaurant or some fast food place. Whereas if it's not enough there, she will easily go to his house and let him bang her out and send her on her way. Never in her mind, in between this phase, which is the second thing, the second phase here of the second Adam, have she realized she just messed up her life. She disconnected herself from Adam 1 for what she's doing now in the second phase. And so therefore, all her value, all her worth, all her ability to peer bond, should she find or have the availability to find a decent, I didn't say a good man, I didn't say a nice man, I said a decent man who may be willing to be with her, she won't have a compatibility to peer bond with him. She won't have the adhesive energy and spiritual availability to be open-minded with this guy. She won't have value as what she could have gained by the practices which would have been endowed upon her if she was still in her Adam 1 phase scenario. Or because here's the thing, if she never met Adam 1, but yet she stayed in her first phase where she's only being the woman, taking care of home, taking care of herself, remaining abstinent and away from the Adam 2 circle. You got me? Therefore, she will still have SMV value. She will be somewhat virtuous. She will still have the ability to be fertile, have her life somewhat together, bring respect and honor because she's in a position to do so. And should she meet that Adam 1, most likely she is going to take care of home and her kids should she spring them from her body. But unfortunately, that logic have particularly escaped the common mind of the majority of the deceived women who have migrated from their land of paradise that was made for them by nature and the universe, or you could say God. So the majority of them who have migrated from Adam 1 to be deceived by the womanists and evil and deception and money hungry corporations who makes money off of women by their failures, who makes money off of women buying into the industries, buying into the programming, buying into the plastic world, the computer world, the technology world with their dumb phones in their hands to get onto social media, and exactly to buy into needing a mechanic because she don't have a husband, needing a massage therapist because she don't have a husband, needing a physician because she don't have a husband, needing a plumber, an electrician, the list goes on, needing extra services because she don't have a husband. And I mean husband, I'm not talking about your marital contract. I'm simply talking about a simple man who is committed to her as she is committed to him. Her not being committed to him puts her in dire straits on the often. And she will constantly need this man or her grandma or her mother and every other man who comes around her world to help her one way or the other. She didn't think about the consequences in her second phase I'm talking about right now. Listen, that there's going to be a big gap between getting the bag, which is in one hand, and having blue pill donkey dunk partners in the other, because they are not whole, because they are separated. That gap in between is what she didn't see that she is going to have to pay. She's going to have to spend her own money. She's going to have to ask for money, and she's going to suffer right there. For there is the physical part of life. Having money is irrelevant most times, because if it's not just that, I just said it, there is the physical as well. Oftentimes, scientifically and realistically, and with your bare God-given eyes, men are a lot taller. Men are a lot stronger. Men are a lot capable of the heavy-duty task that life has to offer. So the deceived herd of women who thought their pilgrimage out of the paradise God gave them was a better paradise from a hypergamous standpoint of view, if you want to look at it from there, from that viewpoint. Escape the fact that science and nature will not be ignored. Science and nature will not be ignored. When the heavy tasks come, when protection come, she's going to call the police, not her husband, because there's no husband there. When heavy weight comes, she's not going to call her husband, because the husband's not there. She's going to call her blue pill beta, who's going to come over there and ask for payment. And that payment, she already know, is going to be her body in one form or the other. Men aren't going to service women for nothing. A man isn't standing there before you just to be your friend. This includes when I gave you an audio talking about women with multiple men friends. They're just wolves waiting. Everything that this guy will do for this girl is because he's expecting something in return. And if she can't pay him back through the dollar bill or credit or food stamps, as what y'all do in the black communities, or buying a meal yourself to pay him back for his services, most likely, if he doesn't want any of that, he wants you to lay down on your back and pay it forward that way. And a lot of these girls, listen, Neo, they know that. But they're willing to pay that price. They're willing to pay that price and not pay the price of reseeding herself, transforming herself, and going back to Adam 1, where she will have all worlds available to her. The mechanic, the protector, the provider, the plumber, and the police officer right at home laying next to her. So because she had forgotten about Adam 1 and started to accept Adam 2, that Adam 2 circle lifestyle, this is when the decline of your society happens. This is when her SMV value, which is her sexual marketplace value, begins to plummet, because oftentimes the majority of them, maybe not all of them, there are a few who can escape. There are some women who they still got good looks, even though they can't cook for but they can't clean for they can't sing, they can't dance, they have no talent, but their body still has the potential to swindle the best of the dumb donkey blue pill betas, who's willing to pay for the end result of a overwritten, overwrought, overvalued vehicle. Okay? So with that, minimum of them is irrelevant to the subject. The majority of them, they fall for this failure and they end up stuck right there where there is no husband in their future. Adam 1 isn't going to come back. Adam 1 doesn't come behind Adam 2. Adam 1 is a masculine red pill man. Or he might be even alpha, but he's a masculine male when it's all said and done. He knows his value, especially now in the 2020s. He knows what he wants, and he know that he needs his woman to be in the Adam 1 circle phase, where she has this potential to provide life to him. He knows this. He know that as Adam 1, he don't belong in the Adam 2 phases. He don't belong fishing in the pond of women who have escaped the paradise that God have provided for them. But if he comes across Adam 2 types of girls, he's going to do the same thing that every other Adam, which embraces her, rests on her, farts on her, smashes her, okay, run a tunnel through her, pulverize her, or mash her like mashed potatoes will do. That is, he's going to put his spoon down there, get a mouthful of the sugar, and walk away from it. But he's not going to keep the entire container because he knows that it is rotten underneath. Only the surface may be worthwhile having a taste, but the rest needs to be thrown out. So let's move on to part 3 that we are anticipated on, which is a final stage that it is a word of warning and it is a wake-up call for you, my neo men, specifically. Now, this is for the woman who escapes practically everything. This girl is the one who say or been taught from a childhood base mindset not to depend on a man, period. This girl, instead of doing like the Adam 2 girls, trying to juggle getting the bag and get the man at the same time, this girl goes straight to college from high school. This girl is she's taught to graduate from Harvard University as if men care. Okay? She's taught to bring value to the world. Now, this girl I consider to be a high jumper. She jumps over the Adam 2 phase girl, but yet she misses out on practically everything. So what she thinks is holding her SMV, her sexual market value, not getting engaged at all, not having any kids. I'm just going to go get my life together. Then I'm going to put my life on hold. I'm going to get back to it when I feel like it. All right. She thinks this is logic. Your new environment today, your social engineering today in your westernized world in the 2020s actually think that this is logic. All right. I'm going to destroy your logic right now with one pinky finger. So sit down, put on your bib, and let me feed you facts. And take that Similac, that fake nasty milk, which I call poison, out of your mouth and listen to what I got to tell you. Neo. So she holds this idea of value near her breast for as long as possible. Let's say this girl transforms to be 37 years old, no kids, and probably never even married. But she decided to be a judge. She's a doctor, gynecologist. She's in these very well established career sets, or dilemmas, as I like to call them. So she gets her bag thoroughly. She got her own house, drives a very decent looking, nice car, travels every now and then if she wants to, and she has a foundation. In between, as you already know, she's still just like Adam 2 girls need a man there. But to her, it's okay because these men, they're professional men. They're car mechanics. They're plumbers that she call up on the phone and say, hey, I need this. They're service providers to handle all the struggles and the adjustments that life has to offer. And she has the money to pay for it. Every now and then, men may flirt with her. She may get a number or two. And there's been multiple occasions where she would go out to eat with these guys, but she won't donkey duck with them. She won't sleep with them because in her mind, she's still thinking that she's holding out the cookie jar for Adam 1. No different than Adam 2 girls doing the same thing. Because what she wants is eventually, because what I tell you, nature and science will not be ignored. I'm going to tell you that almost all my audios. Nature and science will not be ignored. It is the judge. And it will debunk and slash your sick, retard, dumbed down, weak mentality of what you think life is in your social engineered environment today. Your new program mindset. So eventually, she's still going to want to settle with someone. Want someone to romance her. Here we go. Want someone to be at her level. And it gets worse from there. Listen, it gets worse because now she's not only just looking for Adam 1. She wants Adam 1 to be at her stage. She wants Adam 1 to have been as successful as herself. If she's making $2 million a year, she wants Adam 1 to make $3 million a year. If she's 5'6", she wants Adam to be 6'5". Okay, let's put it like that. Now here's your kicker. Because she have been raising her own bar and expectation of life and quality on her own, she has a false sense of entitlement in her world. Now she has so many degrees that placards her hallway. She's walking on every floor with high heel shoes that you can hear from a mile away or maybe in your own cubicle somewhere. She's able to push a button and get what she wants. She can order anything online that she wish to have. Every payment on a car has never been late. So in her mind, in her programming, she actually thinks that she can do the same for Adam 1. So what she would do is use the same weapon as Adam number 2 circle girls would do as well. And that instead of battling her every day with simple weaponry that will not destroy the entire country, she uses that one button, which is so easy to destroy everything in herself by jumping on social media and telling the world, hey, I am available. I want this guy to be this. I want him to have that. I want him to be like this. He has to be like this. And if he's not like that, then he has to be tall, white, and handsome. Or he has to be tall, black, and handsome. He has to have a boat or a yacht as big as a house. He has to have no kids. If he has one kid, I am all right with that, as long as he's with the child. So again, she began to draw out what she thinks life should be based on her standards, based on her circumstances. So the untaught blue pill betas come around and they see her expectation. And most of them, they will fail because she's trying to mold them to be what she wants them to be, which is an unrealistic man. Adam 1 will come around. Adam 1 is a guy who's different than her success. Adam 1 may have struggled in his life. Adam 1 may not have as many degrees as she has on her wall. Adam 1 may not be 6'2" or 6'5". Adam 1 may have 2 or 3 kids. Adam 1 probably have 2 or 3 kids that he can't see because of running into all sorts of evil crocodile women who wanted to take him for all he had and leave him stranded while they take his DNA and run all over the country and play cat and mouse with him. So this girl have no idea about real life or reality. She expected for it to work for her because she is prestige in the eyes of the social engineering contract of the country. Because she thinks she has the sovereignty and the right and the obligation to her own personal dignified standards to get what she wants, because she's been used to getting what she wants the whole time. But little does she know that's not how life works. Oftentimes you can't get what you want. And if you cannot get what you want because it's available, listen carefully. It's because you're not compatible to get what you want. It's not that the universe don't want to give it to you. It's not that those men don't truly exist 100%. And it isn't because the environment is so stagnant and silly people who don't love themselves. They haven't graduated. Everybody's flunkies. Everybody's just unsuccessful peons. You'll be wrong, but that's what she will be thinking in the latter part. What she don't comprehend is it's not that Adam is not compatible for her. She's not compatible for Adam. The first thing she is going to do when she get a hold of this guy is just like what she did to her own life, is program him. She's going to control him. She is used to paying her own bills, paying her own way, making her own way, doing her own thing. This Adam, I told you, Adam 1 is a masculine male. Adam 1 has his man card. So he is not going to allow the woman to guide him no damn where. He's not going to sit there and listen to her cries and her pitiful excuse of trying to think logically through illogical emotions. He's going to shut it down before it gets started. And immediately she's going to think that he's controlling, or he's non-feeling, or he is weak, or he's not capable because he don't want to sign up or line up with her programming, with her idea of what success is. Also, what this woman would do is have a false sense of romance. She would think that this guy would have to romance her from dusk to dawn, take her places, treat her as if she is a princess, go and retrieve. Yeah, I said retrieve, Ralph the dog. Yeah. Go and retrieve the most expensive, the most prestige, the most different, the most exotic. Take her to the most exotic. Be capable of having that your own, of your own self, of your own volition, in order for her to say, maybe I might marry him. Therefore, the majority of real masculine male men, whether they have it or not, they are not going to comply, because what did she do to herself? Listen carefully, Neil. What did she do to herself the whole time? She skipped. She skipped over reality. She skipped over Adam 1. What did I tell you about Adam 1? Adam 1 don't care about what she has established. But listen, if he does care, and if he is ever satisfied that she is all the way over on the right side, being in the Adam circle 3, then that means he wants her to stay there. Did you hear what I just said? Because what is he going to do? The same thing as every other Adam would do. He's going to take a bite and he's going to walk away. He's going to dip and he's going to wash off. because Adam 3 circle, which is still could be Adam 1, but when he is over there and she expects for him to be a part of her newfound reality, which isn't reality, it's a newfound deception, a newfound way of avoiding reality, avoiding what it all means to be boy and girl. Adam 1 know that it will be senseless. It will not work. They will fight every day. Why? Her position of power. That's right. That was what it was all about, her reaching that far over. The position of power. She got her own. She got to own practically everything. Adam 1 is used to being the man of the house. So what makes her think because she has a badge, a degree, and a couple of bags of golden shingles that Adam's going to change his whistle? Adam 1 is still going to be Adam 1 through all his phases, through phase 1, 2, and 3. Adam 1 is still only interested in a simple, homegrown, sensible, respectful, virtuous, talented, forthright, given, compassionate, smart, capable, cleaning, homemaking, child nurturing, mother respecting, God respecting, environment yielding, and fulfilling, shapely, wonderful looking woman. Therefore, while this lady is in Adam 3 phase, she just deceived herself 2 times over. 2 times over. And now she isn't compatible for Adam 1 at all. So she would end up, listen carefully, she would end up eating cat food with her cats eventually. She would get her wine and dining all right, with her own face in her own wine glass, whining that she can't find a companion who's going to stay. She will end up paying for consortiums. She will end up being just like every other man, not all of them, needing to boast about what she has, how much money she got available, how many degrees she has, to think that she can impress the society in order to get men to line up to her program deal. This is when she's about almost 41, 42 years old and reaching up there after getting herself so-called established. And she's telling the world, I can't find a man. Why can't I find a worthy mate? These are the same girls who sit around the circles that you see on social media or YouTube somewhere, and they have an interviewer asking them around the table, you are a doctor, you are a judge, you are a well-established nurse, you over here, you've been a CEO of something. How come you all cannot find a husband or a good man? And it's pretty much a guarantee that every last one of them around the table have an overreaching, high, unrealistic expectation because of what they did to themselves. Adam 1 has been Adam 1 since men have touched down on planet Earth. And regardless of whatever movement that you have, whether it's a womanist movement, whether it is a robotic movement, whether it's transhumanism, whether it is racial bigotry, whether it is all white people controlling the earth, or all white black people, or all Mexican or Chinese controlling the earth, whether aliens come down from Saturn or Jupiter because we're so stupid to keep jumping up there in orbit in space against nature's will, okay? Or the aliens are pissed off and upset because we don't know how to appreciate anything because we rather depend so heavily on technology and computer chipping and poisonous vax that we want to put underneath our skin. So they decide to come down and bombard and move the human race out of the way and take control themselves. Okay? So when men are flying off the face of the planet during that time, and the entire circumference of humanity is transformed to be a puddle of mud, men are simply going to be men. Red pill, masculine male, Adam 1 is still going to be masculine red pill, number 1 atom. That's what he was made to be. That's what nature directed him to be. That's what life have provided unto Adam to be. And he is not going to deviate. Now, listen carefully. Both people are going to end up in the same place. See, Adam 1 circle and the Adam 2 and Adam 3 girls, that's where they separate. See, Adam 1, this red pill masculine Adam 1, listen carefully, he's going to be, let's say, in a zone of his own. The ladies, girls, women from Adam circle 2 and 3, both of them, just like what they did in the middle, they're separated, but they're going to bundle up for one last time. And you know where both of these girls are going to meet? The girl who did not graduate from college or high school, and the one who overly graduated from college, they're both going to end up in the same place. And where is that place? Alone. Alone. Without a man. Alone, sitting there, whether they have their SMV or not. And the only thing that's going to be available for them is only going to be blue pill, beta, unlearned, and uneducated men who's going to say, I do. Da, 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 da. Yeah. What do you want me to do, baby? I'll do it. I'll do it. Okay, 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 okay. Those men, they end up in divorce court. Those men, they end up getting robbed in their face. Those men, they end up getting their children taken away from them. Those men, they end up losing time, peace, and freedom. Dummies. And smart women, not dumb women, know that. So they'll take their stilettos and they'll walk all over these soft donkey betas. Eventually, it's only a good amount of time, whether it is sooner or later. Red pill, number 1 alpha, number 1 Adam. All right. He's not even going to tolerate it. He's somewhere altogether different because he's abiding by nature. He's abiding by his design. And what separates the boys from the girls in this story? Somebody's going to be happy. Someone's going to be bitter. The ones who's going to be happy is Adam 1. Because guess what? He never changed. Life is still going to be available for him because he stayed on his square. He's been providing for himself since stage 1. He's been doing what he needed to do since stage 1, regardless of the other betas who fell for the trap as well. All of them, and the ones who decided to neglect the paradise that's been provided for them, will be in a maelstrom, in a parasitic soup phase of self-destruction. Because we do not comprehend. And daily as I speak, this is something that so many of the younger ladies and older women don't quite get. See, I see the consequences of both of them. I see the man and I see the woman on a daily basis. When I speak to 60-year-old men who was once in a marriage and they got out of it one way or the other, and they're in an apartment now, they don't seem like they're down and out and downtrodden. They may be a little older, but they're living their life. They're happy. Younger women come to them for services and help. And let's talk about it. He's going to get what he've always wanted, which is simply the body. Since he can't get everything else that comes with it, the virtue, the value, the talent, the ability, the additions to his life and making his life better, he's been doing it his whole time. 60 years old, he's been there, he's done that. All he wants is to maintain his peace, happiness, and his freedom. But as for the woman, guess what? I have a news flash for you. You don't want to take it? Let it be said that this is what you've wanted for yourself the whole time. Since she's been on the SMV marketplace, giving herself away, spending time with these guys, these Adam 2 guys, all her life. Since she's been messing around with blue pill betas, hanging out, girls' night out, partying, drinking, waking up in places where she can't remember and don't want to remember. The sexual interaction isn't something that she's so interested in anymore after a certain age. After she hit the wall that men don't have. After she start becoming decrepit that most men don't have. After she start looking like grandma at the age of 42. Okay, just getting the body isn't going to be enough for her. She wants this guy to romance her. She wants this guy to be a provider. She wants this guy to be her talking buddy. She wants this guy to be her emotional pillow. She wants this guy who's going to provide her with the internal quality and assets to her world. But men are simply not going to do it. Men are not going to tolerate that. And because they are aware of today's package deal, she will not get what she desires. So what will be left on her plate is misery, bitterness, and anger. Misery, bitter, and anger. That sort of negative energy is what is becoming rampant in the new world. That sort of negative energy is what is devouring and destroying the healthy, once upon a time healthy social construct that we once had. Instead of listening to old-fashioned ancient grandma, instead of understanding her own SMV value and understanding that it's not about what she wants, it's about what it's all about, meaning nature itself, about what men want. What are they expecting? Those men are speaking up. Those men have been talking about it for years now, way before the womanist movement. Men have been explaining, teaching, and providing multiple sets of information through social media, through your physical world, your boyfriends, guy friends, and probably even only a handful of your fathers to tell you about what's going on. But yet a lot of women choose to ignore them in the early age of 22 and up, thinking that they know everything. When 22 turns into 44, that's when they realize they have dug themselves into their own live grave. So therefore, still, men are going to keep moving on without them, one way or the other, while they're going to be on their own island. And you already know, because they're doing it today, angry at themselves, fighting themselves, backbiting against themselves, because they have become their own enemy. Instead of dealing with life struggles logically and as a team, as Adam and Eve in Adam's Circle 1, they allowed themselves to be deceived by all the false glamour, all the false popularity, and the devil's greatest trick to make them sell themselves to the outside world, to the point where they have nothing else to offer, and not even to themselves, but a glass of wine and a wet, teared up pillow of a life that will never return back to them. While else us men, we will sit back and continue to live with a clear pillow, a clear mind, and a clear vision, with peace, love, happiness, and respect for ourselves. That is the rundown, and I can't make it no more simple than that.